Well.
Oh my God.
Kill us now, man.
I don't
Kill
even
us
have
now.
the energy to even recite the poem. And I
No.
love the poem of Lateness's greatness. I love the yo people. I love it, but I can't do it. And the people watching right now, they think it's for a whole other reason.
They do, yeah.
I had sad music playing.
The pain.
Well, we're a
I had the whole
shambles. The fan
transition
bases are
between
shambles.
the green background to the black. People, not only are we fuming from the result and the players and getting into the manager's decisions and everything after this week, we were recording for 45 minutes.
We were talking for 45 minutes?
Or maybe it was 35 because we didn't hit record. We'll never know.
40 minutes of content.
Disbelief, discombobulated, disappointed.
40 minutes, and this brother didn't hit record. So now we got to revisit all that again somehow. Everything's gone wrong.
The last game, see if we had won. Oh, happy days. It's not happy days, but I could get through and to go through that again as an individual. I don't even want to go through it the first time. I didn't want to talk about this the first time. I didn't want to have to talk about this shit. I didn't even want to have to do a review. I didn't even clip the review that I did on in DL Sports Studio. I turned on the camera with my finger. I sat straight for like 30 seconds and then I introduced myself. I could have clipped that out. I couldn't even be asked. I wanted you to see the depression before I put on that fake smile and did my yo people, how's it going? And this just takes the cake.
It's mad.
I can't even ask Miz how he's doing because the last time he told me how he was doing when we recorded, well, we didn't record. He didn't even want to introduce himself. He was so angry. So God knows how he's feeling. He don't even want to even say anything.
You know what? Fuck the intro. We go straight in where we stopped, wherever we stopped before. So we were talking about, ladies and gentlemen, being sympathetical. So I'm just going to kick things off there and then we'll see what Younes has to say because I was asking a question to Younes. Younes, I'm generally sympathetic. I'm not a beast. I understand what Thomas Tuchel's going through, all the domestic stuff. But I think we need to get real about Thomas Tuchel as well. I was talking about, ladies and gentlemen, off the ball, on the ball.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Right? Now, I personally think off the ball, yes, coaches can give you all sorts of instructions and whatnot. But there's a lot that the players, it's the fundamentals. You got to be able to press as a unit. You got to be able to block off passing lanes. You got to be able to be tight on players. You being lazy, that's on you. That Thomas Tuchel can't teach you. Don't be lazy. That's your attitude that you bring to the game. All right. Now we can sit here and say, well, Miz, they've been going through a lot of hard times. Oh, well, we've been going through hard times as well as fans. So what now? They're going to go to Southampton and put up a shit show again. Then again next week, Burnabout, put up another shit show. So from here on in, just get battered. No, the show must go on, and you got to wake up. So without the ball, I feel certain players, which we're going to all of us touch on very, very soon, they're not doing the job, and they haven't been doing the job for a little while. With the ball, however, I feel Thomas Tuchel. Where is our attacking identity? How are we attacking? We don't seem like we're going to be systematically opening up a team. You look at the teams, and I know a lot of people can say, "Man, there's no point in comparing us against City or Liverpool." I'm not. I'm just saying, watch how they open teams up, and look at what we're doing. Sideways passing. Where is the penetration through the middle? Where is the 1-2s? We don't have any player that's good enough to play 1v1. That's a huge disadvantage.
Huge issue, bro.
Vinicius Jr., 1v1. Oh, God be with you. He's going to eat you up. Karim Benzema, not just he's a striker, lethal, drops in, links up. Like he's got the plethora of all sorts of play happening. But what is our attacking philosophy? Surely it can't just be spread the ball wide, try and get to the byline, whipping across. And what about our cross? It's rubbish as well anyway. It's not a penetrating cross. Where is the Jorginho-esque kind of cross that led to Kai Havertz goal? Like, we are not asking different questions. We have one question that we ask every match. Go to the byline, cross it in. We need to be asking multiple questions. Early crosses, through the middle, chaos. We need to, and this is where I feel Thomas Tuchel's missed the trick here. This is where I feel all of these Chilwell BS. Chilwell's been injured for a long time. Thomas Tuchel's a very, very smart operator. Look at the way how he managed Dortmund. Look at the way how he managed PSG. He should have found a way to play. And this is what I remember, both boys, Matisse and Younes. I remember Younes was the first one to say, we don't have wing backs. Stop fucking playing 3 at the back and wing backs. We don't have wing backs. Play the natural 4. Don't tell me this bullshit we can't defend with 4. It's all about structure. It's all about having balance in the, for example, if you play 4 and you have a double pivot, let's say of Kanté and Kovacic, tell one of the brothers, or maybe both of the brothers, to be aware, to help out the defenders. Why is Kanté playing in KTB position? Why is Kanté sometimes the man inside the box when the cross is coming in? Why is he at the edge of the box trying to do stuff? Like, it's mad, Matisse.
The issue is that, so the counter press is shocking, and he's trying to be part of that counter press, and that's and because this is the issue, because Kanté's strengths kind of conflict his weaknesses, like directly conflict them, because he's a presser. He wants to be in the counter press. He wants to be the guy that wins the ball back and as high up the pitch as possible to give us an opportunity to not have to go up against a low block. This is just in general, not even last night. He's the guy that also likes to carry the ball, but then he's not the guy that you want when he carries the ball to the final destination. He's not the guy for the final pass. And this is why his game is kind of like very touch and go, because his best attributes lead to his worst attributes. So correct. you can never get rid of his worst attributes, or you can never say that he's never going to showcase those worst attributes, because then you'd be limiting his best attributes. Do you see what I'm saying? If you were to ask Kanté to sit, you'd be limiting his best attributes. You'd be saying you can't get around the pitch, you can't close down spaces, you have to sit and shield, and that's not his thing. It's never been his thing. I was so onto Lampard for doing that. But if you ask him to do that, you don't get him in the final third, trying to make the assist, trying to get in the box. So that's the issue. It's like he's always going to find himself in those promising positions because of the way that he plays and the way we almost want him to play.
Does he do that for France though, Matisse? I've never seen him getting into those areas for France. I think
he's a bit deeper for France, but he's got Pogba next to him, and that's kind of like your old school Matic Fabregas, but it's the opposite way around kind of thing.
On top of
so
that,
we have a personnel
it's international.
issue.
It's also international level,
this
and,
is it.
and I can't compare. Yeah, because Maguire plays great at international level. Sancho doesn't. Foden doesn't. Like, the game's a bit slower. The tempo is not the same. We can't, for me, directly, and this is where we go wrong as a fan base, by correlating international football directly with club football, especially Premier League football. They're just not even the same thing. They're really not, and we see it for England, on international duty.
But Matisse,
and
the
a
point that I'm trying
Pogba Kanté pivot in the Premier League would not work. It wouldn't work.
But the point I'm trying to make, what you've alluded to, and I'll see what Younes has to say very soon about this, is that you said that he doesn't have a Pogba next to him to allow him to stay a little bit deeper. I think this is the issue. What did the board do in summer? What did Thomas Tuchel do to sit down and talk about how do we want to play football? How are we going to attack our opposition? Surely Thomas Tuchel didn't get his notepad out and start going, yep, I want Kanté to be playing as a cam with the ball against a low block. I want him there. Yep, that's my way of playing football. Surely that's not what he said. So what did he say? Did he say that I need a DM? I need someone who's actually going to be able to sit so I can have explosive box-to-box midfielders. This is what I'm trying to get to. This whole issue didn't materialize in the last 2 games. We didn't plan from the summer.
Well, we said Tchouaméni was too expensive, and we got Saul Niguez instead. And I was very annoyed to see Livramento go, to see Tomori go, to see Gurhi go, because I rate all of these guys, and I think everybody knows that. But this window looks way worse than I ever thought it was, because the more time that goes on, the worse the window looks. The 2 players that have come in have made absolutely no difference to our team. And we're going to get into the actual game, because I know people are like, why are you talking about Saul Niguez and Lukaku? But we're kind of doing the the study before the exam, because the exam is crucifying that performance. The study is going back and seeing why it's even like this. The players that we brought in have been awful, you know, and they don't even work with the team. In Lukaku's sense, he doesn't gel with the team. He doesn't fit with the rest of the team. He's coming off the bench and his header's a massive miss. It's not why we lost, but it's not great. And we saw what Benzema did on the other side of the pitch. For me right now, the best player in the world, the guy that's in the best form of his life, potentially. He's been brilliant anyway throughout his career, even from the Lyon days when he was younger, as a teenager. But yeah, I mean, we've brought in 2 players and we've lost a truckload of players that we could definitely have used. You know, we could have used a Livramento for some energy on the wide positions and not have to play Aspie at left wing back in the Champions League because we don't trust Alonso. Not saying Livramento is ready for this level, but at least he would have provided another option, because I don't think any of those left-hand side players that we have that are more experienced are ready either. Hence why they weren't selected. You know, Gerhi, captain in Palace, you know, look how great he's doing with all of our centre-back issues with Christensen probably leaving. He was awful last night, getting absolutely roasted and skinned and diced and whatever cooking method you want to see. He's been through it by Vinicius. You know, could have been him and Tomori would have been useful. They're very good defenders. I mean, again, not to say that these guys are ready to stand up and win man the match against Real Madrid, but it's such a poor performance. And I mean, Younes, what did you make of? I guess we'll stick with Tuchel as the theme at the moment. Was you happy with the lineup when you saw it? Because I personally was okay. I was happy with it.
One point I want to make, going forward from Miz's point about Kanté. We don't see Kanté, for example, bomb forward for France. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. When he's got Mbappe and a Benzema and all that talent in front of him that can handle it themselves, that he doesn't need to bother. With Chelsea, I think that's one of the issues we have. Now, whether that's in terms of personnel that we're lacking, you know, at wing back or full back or whatever, in terms of a DM, but even that front line, and we've been screaming about that front line for months and months, is possibly longer. If you want to really, really go back, and we take it all the way back to when Mourinho left, I mean, we've had issues in that front line for time, right? There's no, I can probably understand why maybe TT looks at it and goes, maybe, you know what, if you can just maybe penetrate a little bit further in order to provide yourself as an additional option, maybe something, you know, because in terms of individual talent on a day consistently, regardless of who's in that front line, right now, Kai Havertz is probably the only one closest to that sort of form that we need from anyone in that front line. We're not getting it from Mace. We're not getting it from, well, Pulisic's on and off, you know. Hudson-Odoi is injured. He's not been playing for time. And even before that, nothing.
Wasn't good. Yeah.
Ziyech, well, we had it for a period of time, then stopped playing. Now it's a bit on and off. But we can't have that, man. We can't have that. We can't. When you're looking at all the top teams, all of them are performing week in, week out. Simple. And the closest to not a good performance is a 7 out of 10. You know, like, we don't have that. So the whole thing needs attention. In terms of recruitment, it needs attention. Now, going to the lineup, personally, I had 2 issues. I had issues with Jorginho starting, as alluded in my preview. Defensively, I was scared of having Jorginho on the pitch. I understood going forward as to maybe why he'd provide an option, but I just knew if we were able to move the ball quickly without Jorginho, just Kovacic and Kanté, start Kovacic and Kanté, because that's the only reason you need Jorginho on the pitch, is to try and move the ball quickly. Because defensively, he gets exposed. And we saw that in 10, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, he'd been dispossessed twice. Yeah. Very easily. You look back, Vinicius should have had 2 goals before Benzema even got his first.
Yeah.
We could have been 4-0 down by 20 minutes. You know? So
he hit the crossbar, didn't he?
Yeah,
the crossbar.
Should have finished.
That was the first one. Yeah.
Again, Jorginho exposed. So for me, I would have had Kovacic start. And Azpilicueta on the left-hand side, I didn't expect. And I didn't really think there was a reason to. Alonso's the only option we have. Play Alonso, man. Simple. Even if you're playing in a wing-back system, at least play the guy who actually knows what to do in a wing-back position, I guess, to an extent, even though Alonso has his deficiencies. But yeah, those were the 2 areas I looked at and went, I'm not so sure about that. But again, going back to the 40 minutes that wasn't recorded, you know, for me, this was preventable. defensively, this was so preventable, man. We created the mistakes for ourselves. You know, we allowed space. We didn't press hard. We didn't mark properly. We allowed Benzema, the one guy who you know is going to cause an absolute havoc on you, all the space in the world to score. Like, yeah, go for it. Do what you want, you know, multiple times. Unmarked, especially that first goal. I find that baffling. The second goal is bad enough, but that first goal, a 1-2, you see him running, no one's picking him up. He's run 25 yards and no one's picked him up, and he's waited in the box for the cross. No one's picking him up, and then he headers it and it goes into the top corner, bro. What do you expect? What do you expect, man? It's laughable. It's laughable.
True. And my team, obviously, I had Christensen out the team and Aspie in his position with Alonso in the team. And even though Alonso, see, this is the issue with Alonso, is that he doesn't have intensity in his game. So one of the biggest issues we suffered with in that midfield, where we were outnumbered by Valverde tucking in, and you had Kroos, Casemiro, and Modric with time and space to operate, Mount not dropping in, which we'll get into when we go through the individual players and his performance, because it was so poor. We didn't have intensity. We couldn't close down. We couldn't keep the quarters close. And when I say that, I mean like the way PSG suffocated their midfield, and the way we suffocated their midfield last season is partly why PSG, for 75% of that tie, were dominating. So only until the second half at the Bernabeu that Real Madrid really stood up. If you add Alonso to that with Jorginho, you're not suffocating shit. Let's keep it a buck. Alonso tucking in to follow Valverde off the ball would have been a nightmare. So, but I agree with you, Younes. We needed that attacking threat down the left, and the only person who gives you both intensity and attacking threat is Chilwell.
Yeah,
he's the only person that gives you both. You can say tuck in, get close. I mean, how many times has Chilwell helped us on transitions when we're defending corners, etc.? You know, he's the guy that gets back. He's our Kyle Walker in that respect. The stamina Stapleton of the team. And then you look at Alonso, he's not going to give you that. And then you look at Malang Sarr, he's not going to give you anything going forward. The only and Miz, you brought it up in before the recording, is the 4-2-2-2, the formation that we played against Tottenham, where we beat them in the Carabao Cup semi-final. Lukaku was in the front, so I still wouldn't have played him, but we had the 4 at the back, because, like you say, in the left-hand side is just kind of all over the shop, but then you keep the pivot, so you're still defensively looked after. Is that, in hindsight, something? I mean, what team did you want to see when the game was kicked off? Because, like I said, in hindsight, I'm annoyed with everything, and now I'm probably just. But I was happy enough with the team when I seen it. I was like, this is a strong enough team. This is a strong team. It's a very strong team.
Look, when I looked at the team, I was happy. I thought this was good enough, knowing that you're going to do the fundamentals. You're going to be closing players down. You're going to be aggressive in duels. You know, you're going to be pressing as a unit. So I'm not worried about that. When Ben Chilwell got injured, boys, as I said, I think Younes, out of you two both, Matisse, you came on after that saying that we can't play the wing backs. I think Younes was the first one to say, we don't have wing backs. Let's think about a different way of playing now. I didn't initially think that way. I was like, do you know what? We've always played with a back three. Let's try and adapt. Let's try and do something. If we have to fit in Alonso, let's do it. But as the weeks went on, I clearly saw, that this can't go on this way anymore, this back three. With wing backs, because we don't have the personnel and we're actually playing rubbish football and we're getting away with it. And that's why I quickly said, let's shift to a back four, and don't give me this bullshit about, but means we don't have the personnel, this, that, the other. No, it's all about organization. You're telling me there are teams, how many teams in the Premier League play back three? God damn it. I think Aston Villa, do they play back three? I'm sure they play with the back four. I'm not sure.
There's some teams that come up against us and decide to deploy the back three, but apart from that,
but we have to do what's best for us, isn't it? We have to play to our strengths, and we know we have Thiago Silva, who's aging, who needs that cover in the wide spaces, because if we're going to play him twice a week, he needs to be looked after. We know we have Jorginho, who, he can play in a 3-man midfielder. We've seen it before, but that's heavily reliant on N'Golo Kante being at his brilliant best under Sarri, or at least being his brilliant best from a mobility and durability standpoint, and he's not. He's been very up and down this season, along with Jorginho. So I don't know, man.
But this is where tactics come in. If okay, let's go with the argument what you said, Matisse, that if we're going to continue with Rüdiger and Silva, Rüdiger can be erratic, Silva can be a little bit prone to, if it's 2, then he's got to cover a lot more ground at a 37 years old age. But that's when maybe you have a Saar that doesn't bomb up, that stays tucked in to make sure that it's compact. You have the double pivot where you're a little bit more disciplined. You have a philosophy. This is what I'm trying to say. You have a philosophy that with the ball, we're going to try and overload on the right side. And we're going to try and find an open guy on the left side. You have to find a different way. You can't just be like, do you know what? No Chilwell. We continue with the back 3, but now we're going to play in 2022 Azpilicueta in left wing back. That for me is not a plan. Aspi to play in 2022 in a Champions League quarterfinal first leg as a left wing back. That for me, that you did not think about a life post Chilwell when you've had that long. I can understand if Chilwell got injured last week, you didn't have enough time to think about this. Okay, you made a makeshift situation. Thomas Tuchel, you've had a lot of time to think about this, my man. To drill in training session. How are we going to now attack the opposition with the ball, without the ball? How are we going to defend? I mean, talk to me, boys. Like, am I mad to think that this is crazy? That without Chilwell, we might as well just cross off this season. No Chilwell, let's pack up our bags.
Another one.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. The one thing, really quick. I think maybe some will allude to is the fact that even the Brentford game, for example, we played a back 4. So this is where I look at this. I look at this squad, right, and I look at Tuchel and I think, I honestly just believe there is a big personnel issue here now. As simple as that, man. There is a personnel issue because it seems like regardless, and yet you depending on who you face, the opponents can be different, the tests can be different. But there are games where we go to a back 4, for example. Some days it looks all right. Some days, like Brentford, Calamity. Go to a back 3 yesterday, Calamity. Maybe if we stuck with a back 4, maybe it would have gotten us a result. But maybe it wouldn't have. It's so hot and cold up and down that it's even hard to analyze now. Completely hard to analyze. I think with the whole left back situation or left wing back situation, I agree. In the terms of the context of yesterday's game, I wouldn't have done that. And this is why I didn't expect it. I think even if Aspi is going to play at left back at best, if you're having to just bring him in as a filler, left back at best, where he's instructed, don't bomb forward as much as you would like to.
Players at 3. Just stay back. Make it a 3-man defense.
That's it. And then Reece James can do the work on one side. Yeah. And then Aspi can get some cover. Or Reece James could get some cover if he bombs forward. So there are little things. But yeah, for me, I just think there's a personnel issue now, man. I just think that when you look at the transfer window, I mean, this is the moment now where we look back to January. And we go, nothing. We've done nothing. And remember what we were saying? Okay, maybe if we compensate in the summer, maybe it'll be worth it. Nah. Now with the club, the situation the club's in, I don't even think we're going to have a window in the summer now. Well, we've done nothing in Jan. Tuchel's got no options.
We said we needed a player on that left-hand side. We didn't get it. Yeah. People thought we could maybe make do with what we've got. We can't. And it would cost us at the top level, which is why I didn't have us Champions League favourites, and it has. And not only has that side, all sides, every side, all the whole thing has cost us because the whole thing has come crumbling down. This is the thing with Chelsea, is that when they don't have the perfect defense structure and they're not on their absolute A game with the masterclasses, which they're usually very good, the whole deck of cards comes falling down because the attack is and has always been, for the last God knows how many years, weak. It's not strong enough. My biggest issue with this team is the limitations in the squad in terms of who do we have in midfield that can start as the 6, progress into the 8, move into the 10 seamlessly and do all facets of those 3 positions without problem. We talk about
Tuchel's having to bring on Loftus-Cheek. It tells you everything you need to know in with performances like he's putting in.
Yeah, exactly. And our decision not to get that Tchouaméni midfielder in the summer because he was needed an extra year to develop. I said it at the time, you're going to pay the premium price for that development, though. I hope you're aware of that. So, and that's what we're going to end up having to do if we end up getting him. But I thought the midfield was the key to this game. I always did. I thought it was the key battle. I thought we would be a lot better in that battle, considering how we did last time, considering how PSG did over the 2 legs in the round of 16. And we got nowhere near them. Like you said, it was sometimes 4v3, 4v2, 3v1s. Didn't get near any of these players, and they're technicians. They're aging technicians, and if you hustle, harry them, and you suffocate them, then you can definitely nullify them. But we didn't do that. We gave them time and space. Modric gets time to pick his head up for the assist. Kroos has time and space. Casemiro has time and space. And maybe tactically, Valverde coming in on that from that right and just making it a 4 completely kind of screwed us up mentally and tactically there. And my biggest criticism of Tuchel would to not have reacted earlier. You saw the way the first 25 minutes have gone. We're 2-0 down. Tactically, it's not looking great for us and personnel wise. Make a change. You got 5 subs. Make a change. Maybe then bring in Kova. I'm not saying in hindsight Kova should have started, because I was happy enough with the pivot. I could understand where he was potentially coming from with that pivot. What I don't understand, though, is not starting Kova against Brentford and not starting him tonight. I think if you're not going to start Kova tonight, then you should have definitely started him against Brentford instead of playing Loftus-Cheek in the 6. Just go with the Kanté Kova pivot, and then you move from there. But we didn't do that. We didn't start Kova on the weekend, and we didn't start him tonight. That's where Tuchel has to get major criticism, because that doesn't make any sense. If you've got your best midfielder at the club, in my opinion, I've been saying it because I've been criticizing Kanté. He's been very up and down. I've been criticizing Jorginho up and down. I was saying in a tweet that in 23-24, these 2 players shouldn't really be here still. And people said, oh, you're just talking about age. This is not FIFA. I'm not talking about age. I'm talking about overall performance. I'm talking about performance from start to finish for a whole campaign. Not a Champions League run last season in knockout tie when they're doing incredible in the pivot and collecting man of the matches like Pokemon cards. I'm talking about the whole season where we're finishing 3rd, 4th. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. 5th under Conte. I'm talking about that. That's what I'm talking about. Obviously, Jorginho wasn't there for that, but that's what I'm talking about. And this midfield is not perfect. And we're going to talk about now the other midfielder that was meant to be part of this tactical 3v3, Mason Mount. Non-existent. On and off the ball, non-existent. I don't even know how many times I even really saw him yesterday. I kind of forgot at times he was even playing. I think he had about 44 touches. Pulisic with 42. Jorginho doubled the touches of them. Kanté, you don't really want him having loads of touches. It's not his job to be the guy that manipulates the ball and has plenty of touches. He kind of just is what you look for off the ball and on the ball. Keep it simple and do as you do. But Mason Mount, tactically was meant to be this guy that helped us in midfield to give us that extra cover, and he didn't do any of that. No intensity from the whole team there as well, and he was the embodiment of that. And I think for him, I know Miz doesn't like the whole drop in the midfield work rate. These are the plus points of Mason. Gallagher is gonna give you that with goals and with competition and maybe just half everybody's game time. And that's why I said on Twitter as well months ago, Gallagher, when he comes, the person's position he should be fighting with is Mason Mount. And people are saying, no, it's Kova. No, it's not. I'm not looking at Mason Mount, Gallagher in the midfield with the DM and thinking that's the way forward. No, not at all. I'm thinking, why not have Mason and Gallagher competing for that tactical third man midfield spot, breaking into the box spot, contributing to the front 3 spot, work and intensity spot. Loads of similarities there. Why are we trying to force them both in? I think they can compete and bring out the best in both and stop the inconsistencies, if anything.
I'm gonna try and break this down because I've watched quite a bit of football of City and Barcelona lately. Okay, tell me which player Mason Mount represents at Man City. I'll tell you now, no one. Foden, far too good in terms of with the ball. Quality with the ball for Phil Foden, off the charts. Okay.
Against Atletico, that's it enough.
Exactly. Yeah. KDB, don't even compare. Don't even compare the vision and his quality that he has. Bernardo Silva, another monster with the ball. Don't even come close to comparing him with Mason Mount. And the list goes on. Barcelona, you have I've never understood the word generational. There's people that throw around the word generational, and I never understood what it is until I actually saw Pedri. Okay, that is a fucking generational player. That is someone that's been God sent to us just the way. And you might be writing in comments right now, oh, look at this idiot talking shit. Just the way Messi came from God, I'm telling you, Pedri came from God. He is God sent, proper. This is the next big player, ladies and gentlemen. We're entering a new era. If you have not watched Barcelona, I've been watching them quite a lot. Watch Pedri. The man
he is incredible. I must say.
is unbelievable in terms of passing.
From the 6 to the 8 to the 10.
Oh my God. Just
Seamless.
what Matisse said.
Seamless.
6
And
to
he's the
the
player
8
I was kind of
to the-
alluding to. Yeah. Because even Foden doesn't start that deep. Pedri is the guy from all facets of midfield. He moves through seamlessly.
Pedri,
He
with
takes
2
control
passes.
of games, Miz. He doesn't go hiding. He doesn't disappear.
No.
He takes control of games.
Matisse,
He starts
19.
the tempo.
19.
Stops the tempo. 19. He's a starter and a stopper of tempo. He creates those triangles. He's the one that will carry the ball if necessary. And he's
Vision.
trying to
He
add
will
goals to
go
his
from
game as well.
6 to 10 in 2 passes. Chip pass. I saw a few days ago against Real Madrid where he put a pass when they beat Real Madrid 4-0. He put a pass across 4 Real Madrid defenders to find Ferran Torres with the movement.
Yeah.
Who's got that vision for us? Now you're going to say, Miz, why are you blaming Mason Mount? It should be Kovacic. It should be Jorginho. It should be... No, why not Mason Mount? Why not Mason Mount? What's the point? Why do I need him to tuck into midfield? To do what? To run around all by himself? To show his energy. Energy should be there for every player. It's not just Mason Mount. This whole thing about choosing Mason Mount because Mason needs to start because Miz, we need energy. Well, that's a stupid reason. Then what are we choosing the other players for? Not their energy. Why are they starting? Just to relax, be lazy. What is this? We need... Chelsea Football Club needs a KDB. It needs a Bernardo Silva. It needs a Pedri. We need to demand these level of players at Chelsea Football Club. It's not good enough
Elite
that Thomas Tuchel needs to work with these players.
We're missing, and this is why I say the midfield is not perfect. We don't have Rodri, Fabinho, Casemiro holding midfielder. We don't have that. We've got one sitter in Jorginho, and he's very specific. At his best, he's very specific. At his worst, he's very specific. He's a very specific system player. Never hid from that. He's never had any competition really for his position because we don't have another sitter. Everybody else has been box to box. The midfield is extremely imbalanced. And then in that midfield also, we don't have an elite creator. How can you have a midfield of that many bodies and not have an elite holder, sitter? You know, your typical Mikel, because everybody says, listen, and I agree with them, the DM needs to have great ability on the ball. They need to be able to be press resistant, receive 100%. But why should we have to settle for someone that also physically is gonna need that extra bit of help from that Kanté who's not giving it anymore? You got to have everything. You got to have the physicality, the mobility, and you've got to be press resistant, and you've got to be able to start attacks. Do it all.
100,
Do it all.
100.
So that's an issue. We need that other option in the squad. That's an issue. And then we don't have an elite creator in that central area. We don't have that Fabregas. We don't have that in there. So there's two massive things in that midfield missing that make us predictable in our attack at times because we just know that we have to go wide because we don't have this creator in midfield. He's going to pick up the ball and he's going to chip the ball.
That's
over
why we go wide.
line. That's why we go wide.
We've got nothing in the middle.
We've got nothing in the middle.
That's why Kanté bombs forward.
And that's why Kanté bombs forward, even though he shouldn't. And he shouldn't. Yeah. We made the comparison to France, even though international football's slower and different for me. But there should be a line in midfield. An invisible line made in training where Kanté doesn't go above that line.
Yeah, true.
He doesn't go above that line.
Yeah.
I don't need you to go past the point of this line, and past that line is the final third. I don't need you over there. I need you to keep all your energy, bundle it, not cage it in a lone DM sitting role. No, that's disgusting. I don't want to see that. But cage it into this midfield zone here. Not too far up. Play it simple when you get it. Carry it if you must, but don't carry it past that line. As soon as you get to that line, give it immediately. That's what he does for France. He doesn't end up in the box. You don't just try and score goals and headers. No. This is your zone, and in this zone, all action Kanté-esque masterclass. Don't come out that zone. And when you do come out that zone, give it as soon as you can and get back into that zone. Don't dwindle up here and leave Jorginho exposed by himself. Mason's not getting back in now. When you get back into that zone, you have to be there. You're one of the best players in the team, especially with no Chilwell. This is like not having Kyle Walker if you're Man City. If you're going to play possession-based football, or you're going to play in any type of football where you want to have some sort of control, and you're going to push people forward, you need players who can get back immediately into position. Kyle Walkers, Ben Chilwells, transitional kings, like stamina merchants. You need it, because if you don't have it, and Kanté would be one of those, if you don't have those players, then you get done in transition. But yeah, I mean, Mason's gone missing for 2 games in a row. I think that signals Ziyech to come into the team. Mason, for me, wouldn't start against Southampton at all. I think Kova definitely has to come in against Southampton. I think that goes without saying as well. But yeah, we lack that midfielder that didn't come in, and because we can't trust Saul, we can't trust Loftus-Cheek. I think Loftus-Cheek, when he came on, his touch was very loose, very loosey-goosey. Don't really feel like his impact was all that important at all.
This is the problem with Chelsea, though, man. I mean, this is in terms of that midfield, like asking Kanté to be able to do that sort of job, right? Or let's say, for example, he adheres to exactly what you said, stay in that certain zone, which I agree, that is what he should be doing. But when you look at France, where he does operate in that sort of manner, like I alluded to earlier on, bruv, he's got Mbappe and Benzema and all these guys in front that can manage the job without him. We don't have that. And if you're alluding to someone in midfield that could be a creative player that can, for example, pick up the ball from Kanté, and then it's his responsibility to be able to launch an attack or combine and get something going.
Yeah.
When you ask any Chelsea fan, who would that midfielder be? 99% would tell you Mason Mount. He doesn't do that, though. He doesn't do that. And let's be real here. He does not do that. That is the guy that you expect in that midfield to be able to do that sort of job, but he doesn't operate in that manner. We don't have anyone that can create.
They'll throw stats at you, Younes. They'll throw stats at you.
They'll throw stats. I'll show them 4-1 and 3-1 yesterday and last week. A few days ago, I pretty much tells you exactly what's going on. And his performances week in, week out have been poor.
It's hypocritical, though, because Bruno Fernandes, we've seen stats and we all can see with our eyes as well. You need to use your eyes as well. I've been saying all season, and Miz was very vocal on this as well ages ago. Your stats, cool. They look great. They have improved maybe. I don't know. I haven't compared them with last year. But your overall performance and influence in this team has dropped off from last year. And that is why you won Player of the Year last year, and you are absolutely nowhere near the conversation this year. Not even close. Not even close. The conversation this year is getting harder and harder, but it is Silva and Mendy probably in that conversation for Player of the Year.
Probably even Kai Havertz now.
Maybe Kai. If Kai continues to drop, because he was the only real good player on that pitch yesterday. If he continues to do what he's doing, but he really does wrap it up a notch as well, he's going to have to really wrap it up a notch, then maybe he comes into the conversation. But there's not many in that conversation at all. But defensive errors, I mean, we've got to get into it because I don't even know where to start. Not closing down on Modric for the assist. Christensen getting absolutely skinned, roasted, fried, turned over, whatever cooking.
Same thing with Brentford as well, actually. Yeah, same thing with Brentford.
Twisted by Vinicius.
Christian Eriksen, I remember, for Brentford, killed us.
Yeah, not marking Benzema in the box because we're just letting them have 3 headers now. Mendy, Rüdiger, they're calamity, absolute calamity between them. Discombobulated my brain when I seen that 1 minute after the second half kicked off, because we were still in the game at that point. Havertz had got the goal back. Team talk, you'd hope, was lively. Spirits were up in terms of at least getting something out of the game. Lord and behold, 1 minute in, tie's done, in my opinion. Some people still have the dream and beliefs. Some people will see the Napoli score 3-1 way back when we had Ivanovic, Drogba, Lampard, Terry, Ashley Cole. Check. And they'll say we can overturn it. New manager came in, whatever. No.
Yeah, maybe they'll come back to get the job done in the second leg. Maybe play all those guys.
Yeah. Honestly. For me personally, second leg, 3-1 down with away goals involved. back then at Stamford Bridge is different to 3-1 down, no away goals, going to the fucking Bernabeu. With Benzema still available, he's not suspended, by the way. He's still going to be there, ready to score goals in the second leg. And talk about elite finishing. Lukaku comes on 100 million, misses the header. Not saying he's to blame for the performance, but you want your £100 million man to score that opportunity, especially when headers have gone in prior, especially when you're meant to be in conversations with Benzema, Lewandowski and Suarez and these guys, as you said.
That was his chance for redemption.
Yeah.
Like, when he came on my watch along, I literally said, I was like, okay, look, Romeo, if you want an opportunity for redemption, if you want all the fans to forgive you properly, put in a clinic tonight, and I think it's all sorted, because you're 3-1 down. You have nothing to lose. You're 3-1 down. All your teammates have already let everyone down, right? You're coming on. You can make a difference. You could be the savior. You could be the one that everyone's talking about after this. Mate, you've got nothing to lose. That's the perfect scenario for you. 2 situations, one in particular, and you do that, bruv. Get out.
Bro, the guy had no one around him, and he was far better positioned than Benzema. Benzema was actually off balance when he headed the second one. He was literally falling, and he just
look where
dumped
you put
it in. And look where he put it. Mendy had no chance. And then the first one, it was a brilliant cross from Vinicius. But that run in and that rocket header, that's class, man. Rom would have had that opportunity in the training session millions of times, where he's literally not marked by anyone and it's bread and butter, literally. The fact that he didn't even make Courtois make a world-class save, that's mad. That's mad.
Aspie probably had our best strike of the game, and that just tells you all you need to know. Making a Courtois dive to the top corner, and I said it prior to recording, is that, goalkeeper and striker are the 2 positions there's nowhere to hide. I said it to Julian Laurens yesterday as well on the post-pod. This is the position where you can decide games. You can save your team. You can cost your team. And there's no excuses. There's no pointing the finger. If you get chances and you miss them, you're in trouble. If there's saves to be made and you don't make them, you're in trouble. If you make mistakes as a goalkeeper, it leads to a goal. And Courtois and Benzema, top to bottom, because I don't think Real Madrid were at their brilliant best. That's what pisses me off so much. They comfortably beat us, and they weren't even at their brilliant best. I don't think they got out of second gear.
They didn't have to.
They were just okay. And they had Benzema, who was exceeding his XG, almost telling the XG to go fuck off.
I don't believe in XG.
And I'm sorry to swear. I really am. You guys, slap on the wrist. I'm sorry. I know I have a young fan that watches this show, and I love the way he gets so excited when the intro music plays. I see the clip that was sent to me. Big up yourself. I'm sorry. I will stop swearing on this show. I can't promise it on all the shows.
I can't promise you that today, but
today is a bad day for me to start that rule. I did say privately in the group chat with these guys. We saw the video. We absolutely loved it. Big up, man, for supporting. And to the dad as well, who I met at the stadium. Big up every time me and Anito met him. I did say I'd stop swearing, and this was meant to be the show, but terrible timing, so I'll stop. But just top to bottom, striker to goalkeeper. These are the positions where you want your players to stand up, and our players, they fell down, to be quite brutally honest. But I was saying to you, because Julian was kind of giving the devil's advocate, maybe Lukaku should play more often. I personally still don't think that. I think Kai was actually one of the only good players on that pitch. He scored. I don't bring Lukaku into this team in any pivotal match for the rest of the season unless we're absolutely needed to rotate and rest Kai. And I think players that are not mentally here or mentally looking to exit, which we're talking about Lukaku, and then we go and pivot to Christensen, who's probably going to Barcelona, has an absolute shambles of a performance on that side of the defense. The whole defense were awful. Some people were saying that Thiago Silva's wife Bella is going to have to come out and do the defending once again, for not just her husband, but the whole defense this time, telling us that they're not machines. But Younes, I mean, Mendy, what's going on there, man? Because that was Donnarumma-esque, wasn't it? Him and Rüdiger, just brain fart. The both of them had one big brain fart together and held hands and skipped and done it.
Bro, this was one of the points that we had, you know, when you decided not to hit record. But with Mendy, look, that was a calamity for the ages. You know, that was a case of he didn't have to make that pass in the first place. Simple. Get rid. You know, the half has just started. It's 2-1. There's some hope, you know. On top of that, and this is a point that I made whilst we thought we were recording. Here in London, and all of you saw, it was chucking it down with rain. You know that there's a chance if you're going to make a pass and you don't put enough power on it, it's not going to make you a man, right? In that position, you see Benzema as a threat. There is no reason for all the circumstances involved to make that pass. It gets to Rüdiger, just about. Rüdiger's reaching. Even his touch was a bit off. But as I alluded to earlier on, with Rüdiger, he's got two decisions to make in that sort of situation where the pass has let him down. Is to let Benzema do his thing, which to an extent he did, or take him out and get sent off because he's the last man. And Rüdiger, if I'm not mistaken, was already on the yellow. So that would have, at the bare minimum, would have been a second yellow. Then we go down to 10. With 2-1 down to 10, we probably would have got smashed 4 or 5. You know, that's the situation Mendy put us in. Thomas Tuchel made the decision to change things up for the start of the second half. Brought on Kovacic, Ziyech, changed it to a back 4, wanted to switch everything up in order to add on to the fact that we got a goal back and hopefully we go and we take the game to Madrid. Mendy ended that within 20 seconds. You know, just one terrible, terrible pass. And it's not like him. We all love Mendy and what he's done throughout, you know, this season, the way that he's been fantastic. But that mistake was just borderline unforgivable. Shouldn't be happening. And it's thrown us in the gutter. Like, that was the final straw. That was the cherry on the cake. You know, now we are dead. Like, that pretty much summed everything up.
Yeah. Miz, I mean, what goal disappointed you the most? Was it the individual error from those two, or was it Modric getting time and space to pick Benzema's beautiful forehead out of the sky, or was it Vinicius on the left with the cross, or was it just a combination of all three? Just
Mendy's one didn't disappoint me. I was shocked. That's just incredible what you just did there, my man. Like, that's not on tactics. That's you. And maybe this is a culmination of something deeper happening in the team. Maybe I find it very strange that so many players are off. Like, so many players.
Yeah. I agree.
Maybe there's something deeper that's happening, and Mendy's, you know, lack of concentration is a culmination of something bigger that's going on. And there's
some are saying he's still on holiday because, you know, Africa Cup of Nations win, qualifying to the World Cup. I don't think it's that. But just to make it clear, because
it's definitely not that.
Mane is smashing it at Liverpool. He's having the form of his life. So Younes, I don't think that relates.
It's definitely not that. I think as a unit, as a group,
there
is some form of nervousness. There is some form of uncertainty, and there is some form of fear factor as well. What's my future going to be like at Chelsea Football Club? Am I even going to be getting paid next month? Where's the money? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know. All of these things may be slowly creeping into the footballers, and that act of what Mendy did was the culmination of all of this stuff, right? So for me, I'm not angry with that. I'm very angry with the 2 goals that we let in with Benzema, though, because those goals, if you have a look at it, just, ladies and gentlemen, if you have the liberty to check the game again and pause and repeat and check frame by frame, you'll see where the mistakes are. Like, I can distinctly tell you when Modric for the second goal, Rüdiger was too deep. You need to be closer to Modric. You can't allow him to just sit there and take a punt. Now you can say, why should Rüdiger be doing that? It should be Jorginho. Yeah, you can blame Jorginho as well. You need to be much closer to Modric. Why are you next to Rüdiger holding his hands? There's no one there over there. Why are you in an awkward position there? And then Kanté, why is he so far back into the box when he probably needs to be a little bit closer to Modric as well? Also, how's Silva and Christensen not negotiating a cross between them and allowing someone like Benzema to come in between and get that header? That too, it was an off-balance header. Vinicius Jr., a lot of people might be blaming Christensen. Yeah, 1v1, maybe he's not the greatest what he did against Vinicius, but where's the cover? Where's the cover for Christensen? How is the ball getting to Vinicius Jr., first of all? We need to think about, because us as fans, generally, the predominant fan base, they think about the final part of the play. You got to assess, how did the ball actually reach Vinicius? Why is it getting to him? Who's cutting the passing lanes? Who's making sure the ball doesn't even get to Vinicius? Because it's starting all the way from Azpilicueta's side, who's finding it difficult to man-mark Valverde. Because Valverde is coming into midfield and causing a havoc. And Azpilicueta does not have the legs to keep up with him. He then flicks a pass to Benzema. Benzema then flicks, I think, a pass to one of the midfielders, who then whips in a cross-field ball to Vinicius Jr., who's all open now. So we need to talk about what's going on there before we can even talk about the Vinicius. So for me, yeah, look, Mendy's had some madness this season, but at the end of the day, he's the number one goalkeeper for us. I can name you West Ham earlier this season. Pure madness what Mendy did in that game. Even against Brentford last game, some of the distributions that was coming from him was shocking.
Shaky. Yeah, big time.
Very shaky. And there have been many other scenes throughout the season, but he's number one goalkeeper though, because it doesn't take too long when you go back to the Carabao Cup final against Liverpool, where he was unbelievable. So I'm not going to sit here and say Mendy, because a lot of people are saying Mendy needs to now get dropped and Kepa needs to come in, this, that, the other. It's not Mendy.
No.
I think there's a deeper issue underneath, and Thomas Tuchel needs to understand this very, very quickly, because, boys, we've got Southampton coming up. How do you think Southampton's feeling looking at these two games?
Tuchel said it post-match. This is where I appreciate the honesty. And we spoke this earlier. The fact that he come out and he was asked about, is the tie still alive? And he went, no. You know, what do you think about the second leg? Screw the second leg. Southampton.
Yeah.
You know, we got Southampton to think about, because if we play the way that we did, we're getting smashed. Southampton will beat us. And I love the fact that he said that. And this is the approach that he's taken now, which is an approach that I think needs to be done, because this whole protecting the players, making it all about you, we've seen Tuchel take responsibility time and time again, even at times where it wasn't necessarily his fault, but he does the right thing. Yesterday, he switched that up, and I think that was correct. I think that was absolutely spot on, man. Just flip out. I'm not happy. We'd get battered in the Bernabeu. We might lose to Southampton. Maybe that will get a reaction, because yesterday, alluding from Miz and what you just said, if there's something going on, or there's something in terms of the nervousness or whatever, we're talking about basic stuff here now. Concentration, intensity, press, you know, defend well, get yourselves, be impulsive, like basic stuff off the ball. We're not even talking about tactics or the way we move. I'm just show yourselves, be present.
Yeah.
We didn't do that. That's the bare minimum, you know, and that's where you look at these players and go, you're letting your manager down, you're letting yourselves down. It's completely unnecessary. So Southampton, you play like that, we lose. Simple.
And this is what I was saying, Younes. Off the ball, it's on the players.
Yeah, big time.
That's on you to show your skills off the ball. On the ball, that's where the manager has to say, how are we going to attack the opposition, open them up? I want to ask both of you guys, seriously, how are we actually going to open up Southampton? How? What was the attacking philosophy?
But this is the thing. We don't know how we're even going to approach this game now. Where are we here? Like, what is going on? If there is something going on behind the scenes, what is going on now? Look, we've seen, I don't want to say we've seen this film many times before, yeah, but we've seen the early signs before it all begins to fall apart. I hope
Younes,
it's
I'm
not
scared,
one of those situations.
I'm scared, though.
I hope it's not.
I swear I'm scared, because one more loss against Southampton, I'm scared. I really am.
Yeah.
Southampton we drew with, I think, away from home last season. They're a good team. They're
a good team.
They are. Yeah.
They're a good team, bro.
Oh God, I don't know where to start with this team on the weekend. I mean, I'm puzzled. I'm puzzled and perplexed as to what we're going to do because there's just so many people I don't trust. It's not like you can give a kick up the arse to Pulisic and Mount because I think only Ziyech can really come into that attack. I don't trust Werner. I don't trust Lukaku.
This is our problem.
You can't give a kick up the arse to Kanté and Jorginho because it's only COVID that I trust to come in. One of them's going to have to continue. You can't give a kick up the arse to Rüdiger, Silva, Aspie, and Christensen because Trevor's in pretty dodgy form himself too. Can't give a kick up the arse to Mendy.
It's big.
There we are. You've just summed up Chelsea Football Club.
There you go.
You have.
Yeah.
This is what other teams don't have. You know, we go back to that Kanté point with France. France don't have these issues. You know, of course, Kanté can play with luxury. You've just summed it up. You've just summed it up. And Tuchel has to deal with that. And on top of that, he's got his own personal things now in his private life, obviously with his missus and whatnot. The situation of the club, bruv. Yeah,
I'm seriously scared, boys. A few more losses. I'm honestly scared. And some of you guys will be saying in the live chat, "Oh, here we go." I've been right about a lot of things. You look at the ownership stuff. When it started, I was like, I'm worried, boys, where this is going because Roman might have to sell. What did happen? Roman's about to sell. I said about the Ricketts, boys. You two guys were confident. No, it's going to be top. No way, Ricketts, man. Look at what the fans are saying. I'm like, guys, I'm not really sure, man, because I feel like there's something inside happening. Ricketts are going to come through here. Do you remember when you guys asked this 2 episodes ago? Who do you think wins? I said, I think it might be Ricketts winning this because there's a propaganda for them that is beyond the fans. And now what's happening, ladies and gentlemen, the Ricketts. I'm scared and I'm about to make a statement. Clip this up. Few more losses. I'm worried that Thomas Tuchel is going to walk because of everything that's happening. There's all the things he's having to cope with on and off the field. Press conference. The guy is getting angry now on a regular basis in the press conference. There comes a point.
I think he's in second gear with his anger as well. I think he could go further. To be honest.
He could go further if he wanted to. Yeah.
Boys, we're human beings, right? There comes a point where you can only take that much and you just say to yourself, fuck this, man. Like, my life doesn't need this.
He desperately needs the ownership situation to be sorted on the 11th of April, which is on Monday, which it will be. The announcement apparently on the 14th. So the next show we do.
Oh, is it? Is it all set up?
So the next show we do, we'll know who the owner is. So that's desperately needed so he can have some sort of stability and no more questions on that front. I hope it's Todd Bowie and not the Ricketts, because if the Ricketts are in charge, you can bet the media are going to have an absolute field day with that one. And that's only going to apply more pressure to the club. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Me and Younes did our thing last week and the group organized. We tried our best. Do you know what I'm saying?
Proud of you guys, honestly.
I said it to Younes when we was back on the train, you know, just to kind of segue away from this depressing match and talk a little bit more about Southampton tactically and the ownership situation. I'll bring the green back for the end of the show, try and lift everybody's spirits in the comments now that the funeral is over. We can come away from that situation knowing we did everything we possibly could as individuals who, and regardless of what happens, we know that couldn't have done any more. And I think that's almost a blessing that I can say that, because, you know, a few years ago, I would never have been able to say that. I would not have had the capability to even organize a protest at all, let alone, you know, actually then go ahead and organize it now. And I would have been a fan that would have been said, fucking hell. I would have turned up, but I would have been a fan that's, Jesus, if only we could have done this, if only we could have done that. The banner was obviously confiscated last week going into the game as well. So that plan of action didn't work. And this was my main concern, is that we, as a fan base, were leaving things to chance and we weren't covering all bases, because the club, why would they want to know to Ricketts' banner going in the club? Think about it. They've literally involved in the process of trying to sell the club. They're at the table negotiating.
Bruce Buck wants them.
Bruce Buck wants.
He doesn't want you guys to take banners in. I want this to go to Ricketts. Stop.
Bruce Buck stand at the turnstile like, what do you think you're doing?
Yeah.
Where are you going with that?
What does that banner say? Give it here. Give it here.
That doesn't say Super Tommy Tuchel. Hand that shit over, mate. Where do you think you're going?
I'm surprised Bruce Buck's not after you, Matisse.
Freedom of speech?
Show me where's Matisse Amani. Where does he
You're
live?
hilarious. But
I need to find out.
But this is why I wanted to cover all bases. And like I said, I feel like as a fan base, that was our last opportunity. It coincided with a survey that went out percentage-wise from Chelsea Supporters Trust on 77% no to Ricketts. It was perfect timing. All the media was there. Sky Sports was there. Everybody was there covering it. ESPN, Athletic, London Football London, everybody. It was an opportunity. Did we fully take it? In my opinion, no, because of the numbers. But coverage-wise, we definitely did. And awareness-wise, we definitely did because Thomas Tuchel spoke about it. And when Thomas Tuchel speaks about an upcoming protest, then you know it reached enough people for them to come out in their numbers and turn up. So I'll sleep at night, and I'll probably become, and I said this to Lee as well, I'll probably become the lead gunner of this fan base if the Ricketts are in charge and they do what we have said they are probably going to do with those bullet points from a sporting perspective, is drag this club through the mud. And everybody says, oh, Griffin. Well, Griffin is like, for me, the glazer, the man with the money. But the face of it, the people that will make the sporting decisions, the day-to-day running is the Ricketts. So unless they're suddenly going to turn a new leaf outside of their own country, a sport that is not based in America, and say, we're going to love this club and we want this club to prosper and win stuff, and we're going to... I don't see that. I don't see that at all. I don't see that. I don't even get that vibe when I look at him in his face. I don't see it. So if that's what you're banking on, good luck to you. But like I said, I will become the league honor of this fan base so quickly, because all I'll be able to say is I'll just be able to bring up the poster and just this was the chance. Don't protest now. They're here. Now that we have the family here where he can hand it down to his son and his son's son and his daughter.
They have bought the club.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Don't do what Kroenke family stand to his son, Glazers, their family. Don't start complaining now, please. On God, don't come to this channel and start complaining. Please. Don't come to any of our channels and start complaining. Especially if you live in the UK and you live in London and you didn't go. That's the only thing. I just want the energy to be clear. If you didn't go and you could have gone because you thought it wasn't the right way, please don't come to me and complain. Don't fucking dare, because I will absolutely destroy you. I will take you apart, dissect you like fucking steak. Please don't do it here. I will not have I'm already angry. I don't have the patience. I will do the league honor on you immediately. Please do not. Complain elsewhere. There's so many other places to complain, but don't do it here. So we'll see what happens. Next week will be the decision of the situation, the deadline. We tried to represent them international fans as much as we could, who made their voices very clear as well on the situation, and their religion was deeply disrespected. People's races were deeply disrespected. So hopefully you have to pray that the no to hate, no to racism hashtag stands strong in this country, but I think we can all admit that is a load of bullshit. So moving on to Southampton, I don't want to talk about that anymore, because next week we're really going to talk about that, and that's going to be fucking brilliant if it goes the way we want it to go. Sorry for swearing again. I really, this is not the episode for me. Let's talk about Southampton very quickly, just to wrap up for the last few minutes, because this is our second recording, people, and I don't want to go any longer anyway for these guys. Confidence going to Southampton, Ms. Predictions, players that you have to absolutely see in that lineup. Who are you worried about? No, Broya probably won't play, so Ward-Prowse.
I'm for the first time under Thomas Tuchel, I'm actually worried. I'll shake things up. Like, no, legit, I'm actually worried. Do you guys remember when we had Real Madrid last season and you guys asked me after the first leg, Miz, how you feel about the second half? I go, no, it's in the bag. We got this. We got them. Because I felt it. I could see the team, how they were operating. Complete 180 now. I'm scared. I don't want to go to Bernabeu. I'm worried. I'm hiding under my table in that second leg. Do you know what I mean? I'll be like maybe with a balaclava on something in my watch along. So I'm worried. And Southampton as well. Like they would have watched what Brentford did. And if anything, Southampton are very superior when it comes to pressing as a unit. So if I'm Thomas Tuchel, I don't know, like, what do you do? Do you shake things up because you may potentially piss a few of the players off? Because I'm guessing off the back of that performance, what he said post-match, he did. I'm pretty certain he would have gone to the dressing room and he would have drilled onto some of these players.
It would have been 10 times more that, yeah.
It would have been 10 times more. I'm
100%.
pretty certain some of these players are probably not happy waking up this morning because of the drilling that they got. Now, compile that with everything else these players are going through for the past 2 to 3 months, right? So what do? Do you shake things up? Do you go, you know what, Malangsa, you're starting? Do you know what, Saul, you're starting? Do you know what, Ross Barkley, you're starting? Then you're going to start looking at players like Mount with the angry eyes, Matt Law getting his pen and paper ready, Christian Pulisic maybe talking to US journalists saying, you know, it's difficult sometimes, like this and that, the other. Timo Werner going on saying, I enjoy playing for Germany a lot more than Chelsea. Like, they make more opportunities. Like, well, he's in it. I don't know what you do. Do you keep the same team? Do you keep the same team and believe in them that you guys are going to pull through for me? Maybe that's the way. Maybe you play the same team that played Real Madrid and you go out there and prove yourself. I'm giving you one more chance. You go, you don't break the stability. But if we lose against Southampton, it's Thomas Tuchel's head on the line.
Yeah.
Because these same lads, they go on and they produce that. I kid you not, Southampton's beating us 4-1. Straight up, Che Adams is going to be looking at this fixture and going, I feel like I'm scoring today. Do you know what I mean? So, I don't know, Matisse, bro. I don't know, man. I'm more interested about Liverpool, Man City.
Formula One as well, Australian time, the Australian Grand Prix.
Yeah, the Australian Grand Prix.
6 a.m. I'm going to be up at 5:45 to watch it on Twitch.
Yeah, now you're going to know how I feel watching your time zone. I'm sitting back, lunchtime, do you know what I mean? Relaxing, relaxing.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it though. I've got sport covered this weekend with those 2 games. Like Chelsea are just gonna have to just hopefully surprise us and do a good job. Younes, final thoughts on Southampton and I guess the short-term future with everything going on now. We're gonna be next year is gonna be very interesting.
Bruv, we can't lose against Southampton. We just can't. Because if that happens, it's 3 losses on the bounce. That's when the media, like the vultures, like they are, they right now they're in their slumber. You lose one more game, all of them go like, and they're awake and they're alert and they've seen what's happened and they're coming for you. So how Tuchel approaches this, it's tough because my gut feeling, and again, this is probably why we're not football managers. If my gut feeling would be like, yo, you're dropped. Realistically, you can't do that. This is where I go back to the BT Sport post-match coverage with Rio and Joe Cole after the press conference had been done. And they were talking about Tuchel and his words and how he wasn't, mincing anything. He was being honest. He was being raw. It was like, you got to be careful because if you do that too much, you lose the dressing room. If you lose the dressing room, you're finished. It's not the right thing. It's not the right way. Unfortunately, it's the way the game is, though. Do I agree with it? No. As far as I'm concerned with this situation, the players should be the first ones on the line. It won't be, though. It'll be the manager. Now, what can help Tuchel is the whole ownership thing at the club at the moment, because I don't think Roman right now is really going to take any action. Let's have it right. He's on his way out. He's looking to sell. So it goes back to the point, could Tuchel walk if it gets too much for him? It's a possibility. So we have to be careful. In terms of Southampton, there are some performances there where I think, okay, you need to be dropped. Like, for example, a Kovacic starts against Southampton, no questions asked, Mason Mount dropped, no questions asked, You even go back to the defense and you look at a Christensen or you go, maybe Chalobah starts this one, maybe, There are areas in the pitch where we can change it up, but not too much. I wouldn't bring in Barkley. I think that would be too much. But Southampton right now, let's remember, they had a fantastic February. They're having a horrible March, right? They beat Spurs, they drew against United, beat Everton, beat Norwich, beat West Ham. That was their Feb. In March, lost to Villa, lost to Newcastle, lost to Watford, lost to City, drew against Leeds.
Charity FC. Let's go.
Bruv.
Mid-table, nothing to play for, living life on the coast.
This is perfect.
3 p.m. on a Saturday. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna outro these boys. I'm gonna give their channels the necessary needed shout out, because I know they're too exhausted, tired, and deflated, and disappointed, disgusted to do so themselves with everything that's been going on with the performance. Guys, make sure you're following Miz. I'm not going to have to tell you again, surely, to go and subscribe to the other side of the coin. The work rate is absolutely incredible. And he's not just covering Chelsea now. He's dipping and delving into that European football lifestyle, which we love to see. The Pedri propaganda is as beautiful as ever can be. Make sure you're subscribed. Go over there. The link is in the description. Go and get the job done, because he's climbing. And the channel honestly is growing lovely now. It really is marinating like chicken. It's beautiful, and I love it. And Younes, make sure you go and subscribe to Younes Talks Football. I am assuming that you've done so already, but if you have not, you must be living under a cave or under a rock or something. I don't know what's going on with your life. Maybe you need to get a therapist. Check that shit out. But Younes is covering Chelsea on a daily basis, and you've got the Reddit as well, which is always hilarious, which will bring
the Reddit is funny.
It will put a smile on your face when you shouldn't necessarily always be smiling with Chelsea, but that will put a smile on your face. Make sure you go and subscribe. He's absolutely killing the game, and yeah, just so proud of these boys with the work rate, man, on their channels. Is something to be inspired by if you're looking to be a content creator. So go and subscribe to their channels. The link is in the description. For me, obviously, long day. I will be on Big Six at 9 p.m. Pray for me, because I'm pretty sure Culture Cams is. You see, the problem is,
bro, he was aggressive on you the other day.
Bro, Culture Cams is aggressive. Period.
But do you know what?
Culture Cams,
he had some good points though.
He does. Culture Cams has got points, and he's got sauce as well with it. And then his hairline's on point as well. So it's a problem for me, because my hairline gets called.
It ain't no Saeed, bro. That ain't no Saeed.
Saeed will hit you, but then he'll leave it and he'll joke about and let you. But Culture Cams, he will just come and absolutely just drag you through the mud. You'll be tapping out, bro. So yeah, it's a long day. Toby is ready and locked and loaded as well. His teammate played, obviously, because they're not in Europe. So he's still fresh off a win at the weekend. Didn't even get to speak about it too much. So yeah, it's the teams that don't have these responsibilities of midweek that will be talking the loudest now on this show. I'm looking forward to that. And obviously Liverpool and Man City both took care of business. So it is going to be a very, very long day on the Big Six for me.
Good luck.
God help me. God rest my soul.
I think you're just going to have to be humble, Matisse.
You're going to get a montage at the beginning.
I think I'm just going to have to not speak. I might be a mime.
Yeah.
What should I say? What should I say? Nobody outside of Kai played well. What should I say?
Thuggery, though.
Oh, thuggery.
Yeah.
I have an image circulating around after DR Sports yesterday, and some of my reactions.
I saw that
hiding
behind the couch.
That intro is going to be a movie. It's a long day for me.
Yeah.
So that's where you'll find me at 9 p.m. Follow the Twitch.
We'll be watching, and we'll be just, I don't know, supporting. We won't even be supporting. We'll just be crying. We'll be crying for you.
Yeah, I'd be seeing my boy getting hammered like that. I think I'll be in tears.
There's nothing we can do.
It's literally going to be 5v1.
Yeah,
it's going to be a problem.
At this rate, Chelsea can't even do 1v1, but you're going to do 5v1. Oh my days.
Yeah, I'm going to be outnumbered in midfield massively. So yeah, it's nothing that we're not used to. So yeah, make sure you're subscribed. Big up, and yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow with the preview for Southampton, I guess. In a bit, people. Peace.